Other comments? I just wanted to echo the comments that have been said to thank our host cities. Evan's working with us in planting that brand new middle school, in the city of Greeley working with us on transportation, with the buses. That was an idea that suddenly blossomed, and certainly this project, not your grandpa's artificial turf. I know, Brad, your team is ready to take this on. They do a great job with everything else. So we're just going to add one other little thing to their tasks. Unless there are other comments, thank you very much. We'll go ahead and bring this to a vote. Roll call, Ms. Brand.
Mr. DeWitt?
Aye.
Mr. Hafley?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Absolutely.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Dr. Richard? Aye. Mr. Richardson?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
And the motion carries 7-0.
Thank you very much. Some of the same presenters will be somewhere near that microphone in talking about Field Turf USA Incorporated and $1,790,850.63. Coordinator of Schools Bob Billings, Director of Sports Services Brad Johnson, and again Andy McRoberts of the City of Greeley. Move us on.
Well, we've addressed most of the things that in your questions and the conversation. I would point out just a few other items that are more specific to the project. So you've got 3 different representations, 2 different football field layouts. The only thing different in those layouts are the fonts. And if you have any opinions on those, we'd like to hear it. Basically, you can use about any font that exists, but there's a price to different things, and so we're not going crazy. Roy Otto wanted his picture in the center of the field, but said no, we drew the line there. No, that's not true. But
We'll hang his hard hat down on the field goal post.
So, but at any rate, if you have any feedback, by all means, let Wayne know or shoot us an email. We're taking input. That's another piece. Our athletic directors, our coaches have been reviewing these documents. They've reviewed the specifications. We've involved them throughout the process. And, you know, I think it's going to be interesting for particularly our younger kids, because I would project that most of them have never seen synthetic turf, let alone played something on it. And so I'll go back to our middle school sports. We had our kids going over to Loveland and Windsor for athletics, and they were losing their minds because they'd never played anybody else but a Greeley school. And so I reported back in the fall we didn't do so well. We had 2 boys basketball teams in the Final Four back in December, so that was pretty exciting, and we're into girls basketball. But just a couple of other things. How would I say this? One question we still have out there, you notice in the center of both of the fields, soccer and football, it currently states Greeley Evans School District 6. Nothing other than the regular markings have been decided. And so again, if there's feedback from any of you about what that might be different, we've talked about changing the 6 to written out 6, because if you look at it from one perspective, as Jed pointed out, it looks like a 9. So we don't want to get anybody confused with that. But really, the timeline on both of the projects, the soccer field will start May 1st with tear out and construction. And then the football field project will then commence after graduation. I believe that would be May 26th. And with a completion date on or before August 1st. So that's really almost a full month before our first contest. The first official contest that'll be held on on the football field will be Greeley West and Northridge football. So that seems fitting, that works itself out that way. That wasn't planned. I can take no credit for that. That would be Jeff Cranston and Ron Gallardo at Northridge. So, but that'll be a great way to start the football field. And then we have a lot of work on our end to organize and be on top of the joint use. It's from a scheduling standpoint, access, maintenance, all of those things. We have some time and effort to put forth, so we're completely and utterly on the same page as we move forward, because it'd be real bad to have a couple high school soccer teams show up when there's a bunch of Mighty Might soccer players showing up at the same time. So we'll make sure we're on right on top of all the scheduling. So with that, really, I don't have anything else to add unless you have any other questions.
I think we have. Mr.
Okay.
Hafley.
I'm a little disappointed in the colors, being that I can't tell any of them tonight. But I hope that we give kudos to the city of Greeley, either in signage or in a plaque or something, so that everybody who attends an event, be they 6 or 60, knows that the city is a partner with us. And I think that that's really imperative, that we give them credit where it's due.
Great idea.
Mr. Hall.
And as usual, I have to tag on to Mr. Hafley. No, but I was just making notes here. I would like for someone to, and I'll help sit on the committee or whatever it is, but wouldn't that be a great thing to dedicate the stadium to the taxpayers, and thanks to city government and everything that made that happen on the night of the first inaugural football game, or when it's used. And maybe something like John was suggesting, and truly honor that and make it a big public, a public affair, so that the city actually sees this. And so I don't know who, but maybe you and I talked, but I think that'd be a great thing to kick that off and dedicate it in a way to start it off right.
Absolutely.
Thanks. Also like to, Mr. Lydio, sorry.
Well, this is merely semantic, but I do like option one, but I do see that, Greeley is big and bold and pronounced in the end zones there. So, we are kind of recognizing and appreciating Greeley. And I don't know if you're wanting like city of or something like that, but Greeley's definitely well recognized there. So
We've
again,
discussed some signage to really recognize the taxpayers and the city of Greeley, to make sure people understand how we got to where we'll be.
Well, again, on TV they may not see it, but Greeley's big and beautiful in the end zones there. So.
And maybe we can just have a statue of Roy.
Maybe it's just a big D6 in Roman numerals or something. I don't know.
Well, thank you.
Call on us. We appear to have lots of good ideas.
Shall we call?
We appreciate
Let's create a
that.
logo.
Mr. Easterbrook, who came here this evening from Field Turf USA Incorporated, thank you very much for your team's contribution to this and for seeing us through to success on this. At this point, this is an action item, and I'll have to have a motion before we make further steps on this.
I move that the Board of Education of Will County School District 6 approve the contract with Field Turf USA, Inc. for the furnishing and installation of Field Turf 2.25-inch Revolution turf at the District 6 football stadium and soccer complex, to be completed with financing through an agreement and funds from the City of Greeley.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any other comments or questions? Roll call, Ms. Brand.
Mr. DeWitt?
Aye.
Mr. Hafley?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Mr. Richardson?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
And the motion carries 7-0.
Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
The next item of business is associated with Dell Incorporated, a blanket purchase order of $300,000. And Chief Financial Officer Megan Sponsler is present to give us a little information about why this is appearing before us tonight. Ms. Sponsler, welcome.
Good evening, thank you. Tonight we're bringing forward a blanket purchase order request for you to consider. Typically we bring these requests to you in the spring for the fiscal year. Sometimes we're not able to estimate exactly how much we'll be spending on certain things, and this is one of those cases where we are planning to spend a little bit more with Dell on computers than we had initially expected. We're requesting a purchase order of $300,000 to accommodate expenditures for purchases of computers, a couple different grants for 21st Century and Medicaid, and then also general fund purchases. An example of the purchase in my department, I try to kind of replace computers on a quarterly basis or every 4-year basis. And so when you start doing that across the district with multiple departments throughout the district, those amounts do kind of add up. So these amounts are budgeted. They're budgeted in different departments, and some are budgeted in grants. So this is really not a new expenditure. It's just that we need to bring this purchase order to you since it is over $50,000. Are there any questions I can answer about that?
I don't see any at this time. So this is an action item, and so I will entertain the motion associated with this information.
I move that the Board of Education of Weld County School District 6 approve the blanket purchase order for Dell Incorporated for various computers and related items to support expenditures for the remainder of the 2014-15 school year, not to exceed $300,000 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Seeing no other comments or questions, roll call, Ms. Brand.
Mr. DeWitt?
Aye.
Mr. Haefele?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Mr. Richardson?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
And the motion carries 7-0.
Thank you very much. Please don't go anywhere, Ms. Sponsler, because we have some questions or information to gather from you on the 2014-15 budget year revision. And this is an action item, so I will ask for a motion at this time.
I move that the Board of Education of Weld County School District 6 approve the 2014-15 revised budget as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We also have additional motions at this time.
Motion 1.
Please.
Be it resolved by the Board of Education of Weld County School District 6 that the amount shown in the following schedule be appropriated to each fund as specified in the revised budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2014 and ending June 30th, 2015. General Operating Fund, $161,147,580. Dental Insurance Fund, $1,100,000. Cooter Learning Center Fund, $207,000. Risk Management Fund, $1,705,000. Colorado Preschool Program Fund, $2,380,828. Food Service Fund, $10,288,201. Governmental Designated Purpose Grants Fund, $17,700,000. Platte Valley Youth Services Fund, $1,466,215. Bond Redemption Fund, $10,003,722. Capital Projects Fund, $4,659,474. Scholarship Fund, $20,000. Student Activities Fund, $1,750,000. Athletic Fund, $300,000. Total appropriations, $212,728,020.
Okay. Okay. All right. Forgive me for falling asleep up here. We do need a roll call vote on the original motion, and then we will follow that immediately. No, you will not read that again. Thank you very much. We will take a second from that in a moment, but I fell behind. I was so spellbound with the dollars. So we will be voting on the motion presented and seconded to set up this these series of motions. Roll call.
Mr. DeWitt?
Aye.
Mr. Haefele?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Dr. Richard? Aye. Mr. Richardson?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
Carries 7-0.
And Dr. Richards presented the motion, and we'll need a second at this time.
Second.
Thank you for that. And now a vote, roll call vote. I'm sorry.
If anybody had any discussion.
Any comments? People are quiet. Okay, please roll call.
Sorry.
Mr. DeWitt?
Aye.
Mr. Haefele?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Dr. Richard? Aye. Mr. Richardson?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis? Aye. And the motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. And there is one more motion, please.
All right, motion number 2, resolution regarding the transfer of funds. I move that the Board of Education of Will County School District 6 authorize the transfer of the following funds: $1,700,000 from the General Operating Fund to the Risk Management Fund, $2,101,634 from the General Operating Fund into the Colorado Preschool Fund, $330,000 from the General Operating Fund into the Platte Valley Youth Services Fund, $750,000 from the General Operating Fund into the Capital Reserve Capital Projects Fund.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, Ms. Bray?
Mr. DeWitt?
Is there discussion? I'm assuming people yell at me if there is. Discussion? I don't see any indication. Okay, thank you. Roll call, Ms. Bray.
Mr. DeWitt?
Aye.
Mr. Haefele?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Mr. Richardson?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
And the motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. We have one more.
I've got another motion to read. Motion number 3, resolution regarding the authorization of use of beginning fund balances. I move that the Board of Education of Will County School District 6 authorize the use of the following fund balances for the purposes indicated. General Fund Operating Fund. General Operating Fund, $2 million to cover one-time expenses such as curriculum and the purchase of supplies and materials. Dental Fund, $100,000 to cover insurance claims in accordance with the insurance policy held by the district. Colorado Preschool Program Fund, $279,194 to cover supplies and materials for the preschool program. Nutrition Services Fund, $500,000 to purchase vehicles and equipment for food service programs. Capital Projects Fund, $1,500,000 for facilities, maintenance projects, bus purchases, and technology acquisition. The Board of Education of Will County School District 6 authorizes the use of the beginning fund balance for these funds for these purposes due to the fact that they are non-recurring expenditures and are funded from previously designated funds reserved for these expenditures.
Second.
It's been well moved and well seconded. Roll call, unless there are questions or comments. Mr. Eads?
Yes, Ms. Sponsler, I noticed that the revised budget has higher revenue. I wonder if you could give us a quick explanation of why there's higher revenue in the revised budget than the original budget.
Absolutely. Just to kind of back up a little bit, Colorado law does permit us to revise our district budget up until the end of January, and so that is what we are bringing forward to you today. A lot of times we are not aware of the exact dollar amounts that we are allocated until well into the school year. And that's an example, approximately $2.6 million that is budgeted in addition to what you had originally adopted. Part of that is due to enrollment growth, which we talked about in a previous meeting, and you actually purchased some technology knowing that we had growth in our student count. So that equates to about $600,000. And then we have other funding streams in categorical programs. Those categorical programs are for specific purposes. So for example, The English Language Proficiency Act, we actually received $600,000 more than what we had budgeted originally. Those funds can only be used for English language acquisition programs. The READ Act, we received $500,000 more than what we initially budgeted, but again, that money can only be used for specific programs. In that case, we'll be using that to purchase some curriculum and materials. Our transportation categorical, we're receiving approximately $250,000 more than what we had budgeted. That will be used to purchase buses. And then another part of that big difference is the charter school capital construction program, and we will be receiving approximately $800,000 that was not initially budgeted, but that money is just a pass-through directly to our charter schools. So that is where that additional revenue is coming from, and as I mentioned, that is supposed to be spent in those specific areas, and so it's not that we could add money to salaries or other accounts.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. And thanks, Mr. Eads. I think it's been moved and seconded. Roll call, Ms. Bray.
Mr.
Aye.
Mr. Haefele?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Mr. Richardson?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
And the motion carries 7-0.
Thank you very much, everyone. Ms. Sponsor, thank you for your information. That concludes our meeting this evening. This meeting is adjourned.